the first thing we have to understand is when we say the mind, there's actually two parts to the mind that are separate parts from each other. One is called the conscious mind, and that's the creative mind. That conscious mind is the one that has your identity, your soul, your spirit, who you are. The other mind is called the subconscious mind. That's almost like a machine. It's almost like a tape recorder that records behavior, and then when you push the button, it plays the behavior over again. There's no thinking. It will repeat the behavior over and over and over again. And so the idea is this. The conscious mind is yours. The conscious mind has your wishes and your desires. I wish to be healthy. I wish to have a great relationship. I wish to have a good job. And people go every day into the world thinking, I am controlling my life with my conscious mind. The subconscious mind has the habits that we learn. And this is the most important part. The basic habits in the subconscious mind we learn from other people, from our parents, our family, our community. So I say, the programs that play in the subconscious mind are not even mine. They came from other people. So now I say, okay, I have the two minds. Which one is in control? Well, the mistake is most people think the conscious mind, the one that you are creating your life with, is in control. We now know the conscious mind only controls 5% of your life. 95% of your life comes from the programs in the subconscious mind. So let's say you were a child and your parents said, you don't deserve things. Well, what program do I have in my subconscious mind? I do not deserve. So 5% of my life I say, oh, I want to be successful. 95% of my life, the subconscious is saying, you don't deserve this. And so which one will win? And especially, the subconscious mind is 1,000,000 times more powerful than the conscious mind. So when you do the math, it says, you want to create your life with your conscious mind, it only works 5% of the time. And most of your life is coming from the subconscious mind, 95% of your life coming from a mind that is 1,000,000 times more powerful than the conscious mind.
It's
so
impossible.
you can't win until you learn how to change the subconscious mind. And lecturing now for 35 years, every time I finish my lecture, always the first question is, how do I change the subconscious mind? Of course, that's the most important thing. The idea is this. The two minds are not connected, meaning the conscious mind is a creative mind. The conscious mind could read a self-help book. The conscious mind could go to a lecture about life and health. The conscious mind could just have an idea, I want to create happiness and health. And I go, that's very nice, but that information does not go into the subconscious mind. This is why people go to a psychologist and they go over their whole life with the tissues and they're crying and they go, my mother did this and my father did this and my whole life was messed up, and they cry and they get to the end and they say, now I know why my life is such a mess. I say, now that you know this in your conscious mind, did your life change? And the answer is no. And the reason is because the conscious mind learns different than the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is the habit mind, things that you repeat. So like when you went to school and you learned the alphabet and you had to say the letters over and over and over again, you kept repeating and repeating until you learned how to do it. Once you learned how to do it, you don't ever have to do it again. Driving a car. Before you have a license, you don't know how to drive a car. Then there's the learning period where you repeat it and practice, and now that you know how to drive a car, you don't have to think about driving a car. Think it like this. Here's a story. You're in a car. You've been driving a long time. You have a passenger in the car. You talk to your passenger and you're talking and you're talking and you're having a good conversation, and then you look out the window and you think, oh, I haven't looked at the road for 10 minutes. And I go, who was driving the car? And the answer was, well, your conscious mind was involved with the discussion. So who was driving the car? The subconscious mind. Now I want to say this story also shows the most important point I need to tell people. When the conscious mind is doing its operation, whether it's driving the car, whether it's walking, whether it's the job you're doing because you always repeat it, or you're having a conversation, when you're working from the conscious mind, your subconscious mind, when you're working from the subconscious mind, your conscious mind doesn't observe it. So I go back to the car. I say, you were in the car talking to your friend and you were driving. I say, can you tell me what you were talking about? You go, oh yes, I can remember everything. It was my conscious mind, I can remember. And I say, can you tell me what happened on the road for the last 10 minutes? It's like, no, I didn't see that. And I go, that's the point. When the subconscious mind is doing its job, you don't see it. Well, this is important because 95% of your behavior you don't see. And if this behavior is not supporting you, you won't see it. So when people have trouble in their life and they're going, I'm trying so hard to be successful, I'm trying with my conscious mind to be successful, and it doesn't work. And then they say, the universe is against me. It's not in my fate. You know, I'm an unlucky person. Like the forces from outside were stopping you. And the truth, it was your own subconscious mind that prevents you from being successful, but you don't see it. And when you don't see it, you can't see that you are responsible, so you blame everything else. And this has been the problem in our world because we are personally responsible for everything. And yet if you don't see you're involved, then it's very hard to believe you are personally responsible. The one thing is we go back and say, how does the subconscious mind learn? Because it's different than the learning from the conscious mind. I said, conscious mind, I could just read a book and I learn it. The subconscious mind didn't learn that way. How did you learn from the subconscious mind? Well, go back and realize everything you learned, you had to repeat over and over and over again. You made a habit. So if you want to change your subconscious mind, one way to do it is to make a new habit, but you can't put like a sticky on the refrigerator and say, don't eat donuts. Because that's not a habit. Sometime you look at the refrigerator and go, oh yeah, don't eat the donut. A habit is like an exercise you have to repeat over and over and over again. So you have to make an exercise and you have to repeat it and for a period of time. For some people that's hard. It takes some period of time to learn because habits take learning time. So there are faster ways. One of them is hypnosis, because hypnosis opens up the recording for the subconscious mind. Another one that's very effective, one that I even tried first and it worked very well, is you play a tape, a subliminal tape. So when you go to bed at night, you put the tape on. And the reason why is between the way the brain works, when you're awake, the brain is working at a very high vibration frequency. But when you go to sleep, the frequency, the vibration slows down very slow. Somewhere between the high frequency of awake and the low frequency of sleep, there's a frequency of hypnosis. So it's like self-hypnosis. You put the tape on and just as you're going to bed, if you hear the tape, it will go straight into your subconscious mind. So as you go to bed every night, you play the tape and it will change the program faster than if you just try to do like a regular habit. And there's also now there's a new way, okay? And there's a new way, there's a group of different ways of doing it, but collectively they call them energy psychology. It's a new psychology, but it's a way of creating super learning. And you say, well, what's super learning? I say, well, people who are super learners are the ones, if you've seen them, they could read a book by just moving their finger down the page, turn the page, read. As fast as they can turn the page, they read the page, like this. If you can get your mind into a super learning state, you can download a new belief in minutes. And this is why this new way is so exciting, because you can change programs that have limited you your whole life, sometimes in 10 or 15 minutes. And this is the exciting new development for humans, and it's especially needed because the world is in a lot of trouble. We don't have a lot of time to make changes. So it's a wonderful addition to our ability to make change, energy psychology, because using this, we can make changes in our lives in just minutes. And it's almost like miracles when I see people use this. I've done it myself, of course, and I see people do this all the time. And I'm so excited because this is what we need now.